Hello again, and we're happy that you're joining us here at the Abbey. Today we have a lot of visitors. It's interesting, so we welcome them too. And welcome back some of our resident nuns from the monastic conference in California. So I want to talk for a minute about writing to inmates who are practicing Buddhism in the prisons. When I came in 2004 to Vajrasattva retreat here for 90 days, of course, those of us who came, there were 7 of us doing that retreat, had no idea how long that trek was going to be. And it was a long one. Thank goodness for Venerable Chidren, and also Venerable Chini helped us. And we had a wonderful cook and a good assistant, and many people assisting us to get through those 90 days. And one of the most amazing things that happened that was very inspiring to me, and I know was to the other retreatants too, was that Venerable Chidren had been corresponding with a number of inmates, and she began to encourage us to do that also during the retreat. And so we each took on 1, 2, or 3 inmates and corresponded with them during those 90 days. So they were in the prisons practicing while we were here in these amazing and beautiful conditions practicing. And the letters we would get back would just really, they were so heart-touching, and they really caused us to, I guess, kind of cut the complaining mind about our conditions, like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired, and it's cold in here, it's too hot in here, I don't like the light, there's too much snow. You know, all the things that the mind can find to be unhappy about, because these inmates were just amazing. They just kept going, and they're practicing under the most difficult conditions. Many of them in a room full of other guys. We're mostly writing to men right now, although we'd certainly be open to working with women inmates. But at that time, and now writing to mostly men, and they are in dorms full of men doing who knows what all that can go on in the prison. Some of them in top bunks with light bulbs about, 18 inches from the top of their head, noise going all the time. All kinds of, well, if you write to anyone or you know anything about prison, it can be a very violent place. I write to someone now who has, he's witnessed one murder right outside of his cell, and he's been moved twice for other murders, not that he was involved in, just occurring. And he's in a prison where there's just constant lockdowns because guards or inmates get killed. So it's a very huge prison, and they haven't been able to get control of that. So these are the kind of conditions that these inmates practice under. And so it's just really good every once in a while for me to think about them and to go, wow, I have these incredible circumstances. And most of you listening to this BBC will have conditions that are far easier than what they're doing, and yet they persist. There was one man I wrote to for 5 or 6 years until he got out, and the whole time he persisted in his practice. And there are others that I've written to 3 or 4 years, and they're still going. So I wanted to read just the ending of a letter by a man, Steve, who I write to, who also is a very dedicated practitioner. And he says, he closes his letter this way: I know I don't write much, but don't think I have even slipped off of my practice. I'm very touched by this, so I won't stop until I free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. Many blessings from Steve. So, may we, generate that kind of intense determination and compassion, because he's in very difficult circumstances, and he leads his little Sangha group. So let's emulate that.